In today's video, we're going to be looking at the Akali Expert Advisor. So regarding this bot, I've heard very good things from a variety of people, many good clients of mine who know what they're doing. And every time I hear that, I'm a little bit excited to dive in and see what it's exactly trading with. So in terms of the strategy, they're being pretty transparent here. They're simply saying that it's built for high precision scalping on gold and uses an extremely tight trailing stop loss to secure profits. And this to me sounds like it's probably more of a breakout style scalper. So it makes total sense to me. It's running on the M1 and it needs a very low spread. So quite frankly, I quite like that they're being very transparent and straight to the point. It's a scalper on gold, and as we can see here, this is a very characteristic scalping equity curve. We have long runs of winners, and then stop loss is much bigger than the take profit. Hence, you kind of have this staircase style equity curve. And it makes a lot of sense to me. And so far, it seems to be very profitable on a live Vantage account. And here we're running it indeed on a Vantage account. Granted, it's with a very small initial deposit, but maybe it could have just been more of a test signal. And yeah, there's lots of trades here. Very indicative, both buy and sell, which is great on gold, because as of late, we've been seeing just an absolute boatload of long-only bots on gold because it's very easy to make money when something is just ripping up, right? But overall, it's good to see that. So I think it looks like a very real bot. The actual signal seems to be matching the equity, the live signal seems to be matching the backtest equity curve, which is also a great sign. And just to look at the signal here, we're seeing it does have a 95% win rate, and it has a very inverted risk reward. So 1.8 to 8.76. So like, I don't know, a 6 times inverted risk reward divided by 8.76. Yeah, sorry, 5 times inverted risk reward. So that's going to be a very inverted one. So you need 5 winners to compensate for 1 loser. Just something to keep in mind that if you run this system, you're going to almost always win. But if you take a loser, you might need to make 5 different winners in order to compensate for it. But over the long term, like it could very well be profitable. It just needs to kind of maintain this continuous distribution of winners and losers to make money. And I took the liberty of running a backtest here on Vantage as well. And I ran it on the M1 as they suggested, but I wanted to also zoom out on the H1 just to get a better idea of how it works. And once again, it looks very much like a classic breakout style system. So we're placing pending orders most likely at key levels, and we're seeing rapid breakouts of set levels. Like this looks like a previous high breakout, previous low, previous low. If we run a visual backtest, we'll probably see in more detail, but I would be very surprised if it's not that style of system. Just wait for this thing to load, and then move it over, and let's just quickly zoom out here. Let me also run on the M1. Oh, I am running on the M1, pardon me. I thought maybe I had switched it to H1. Let's run it back here. I'll just slow it down a little bit. And, okay. It looks to be run on the daily. Yes, those are indeed very much pending orders. And then they will rapidly, there we go. Yeah, it will rapidly move the trailing stop loss. As you can see, yeah, it's making all these little orders. So yes, guys, it's nothing super crazy. It is working. It's a gold scalper, inverted risk reward, bigger stop loss, tight trailing stop loss to take profit, and placing orders at support and resistance levels. So good, tried and tested strategy, very similar to the Lothi Milo bots, but this works, right? So it's a good and profitable system. One thing to note is why would this stop working, and in what situations would it not be appropriate for? I think if we were to all of a sudden enter more of a market environment where, let's say, gold just moves sideways for an extended period of time, and we have tons and tons of reversals, we have no breakouts, maybe this style of system could lose a lot more than it's winning. And that would not be ideal, because if you enter that kind of market regime, you could be having a lot of stop losses, and it could just take you a while to recover. So one thing to keep in mind is maybe due to the high volatility regime in gold, this thing is doing particularly well, but it might not do as well going forward. But that isn't a knock on the developer. It's just any bot might need some reoptimization if the market regime fundamentally changes. But overall, looking very solid. I think it's a good bot, and I'd be curious to hear if people have any feedback on it, if they've been using it. One other thing to note is that in a prop firm environment, this type of system might not be as good just because you're going to need to have a high degree of leverage to use a true scalper, and it's going to be very spread and slippage sensitive. So maybe more appropriate for live funds on a good broker like Vantage as opposed to using it more on a prop firm. So overall, looks good, basic strategy, tried and tested, and yeah, leave me a comment if you guys have any feedback. Cheers.